Let me ask you a question. If you call yourself a Christian, and I see this over and over again, how do you know? I mean, we're talking about in the ancient times, Christians were known by face to face. And we're looking on the internet. And of course, we're dealing with slander and gossip and hatred and all that stuff. So when somebody says that person's not a good Christian, one thing you should ask is, are they even a Christian? Another thing, if you're a Christian, Christian, this is May 26th, 2010. And that is a Wednesday. How do you know they're a Christian when somebody says this person's a Christian? How do you know they're a Christian? When somebody says they're not a Christian, obviously it's none of your business. Paul said, and here's the scripture, what business do we have with outsiders? Paul also said, let's make the way of God attractive, or adorn the faith, adorn the way of God. So let's not get the cart before the horse. There are a lot of people out there that claim they're Christians, and they aren't. If they don't know what's right and wrong, you shouldn't be yelling at them. You should teach them if they'll listen. But what we're talking about biblically as a Christian, it's not a cross around your neck and it's not a Bible under your arm. I seriously doubt that most of the people on YouTube, although they believe it or claim it, that claim they're Christians aren't. So I think this, YouTube, haranguing and everything is getting the cart before the horse. Some people call themselves Christians and just pull out some Bible verses as they please. They don't have an understanding of Scripture. I doubt the people that are haranguing them have an understanding of Scripture. I'm not doubting they can read it and understand what the sentences say. I don't think they get the gist. The accuser's name is called accuser. It's called Satan, which means accuser. The accuser's name is called accuser, and that's referring to Satan. The deceiver's name is called the devil, and that's referring to the devil. The devil means deceiver, and Satan means accuser. So you can see why I question these people that claim themselves to be Christians. There are many people out there that don't know the difference. I think most people, even the so-called Christians, don't know the difference between real Christianity and fake. The type of Christianity that Paul said, I am willing to go to death for, to prison and to death. Who among you would do that? So when you don't have the love of God, when you don't have the understanding of God, you have no business acting outside of love to instruct somebody, especially if they don't even claim to be a Christian. You're getting the cart before the horse. So this is basically me telling you that Christian behavior is loving. If it's not loving, it's not Christian, and it's getting the cart before the horse. You can put the scriptures in front when Jesus Christ was, and always will be the message. He was planned before the beginning of time, before any scripture was written. According to the scriptures, he created the world. He was prophesied about from Genesis all the way through Revelation. And if you don't understand him, and you start holding out some of the writings of the Roman Church, and saying, well, it says on this page, or if you start shoving the Bible in somebody's face and without them understanding and without them accepting Jesus Christ, whereas you yourselves do not accept him, you're certainly getting the cart before the horse. Some people out there playing basketball. So that's my message. Don't get the cart before the horse. You're mis-hitching. It's mis-hitched. The scriptures do not have a context without love. And you Christians out there, you so-called claimants of Christianity, you better realize that when you're dealing with people, the idea is love. And that is getting out of contentions and fights. You know, you look at 1 Corinthians, and Paul says, why are there these contentions among you? Why do you squabble? And it says you're still carnal. So check yourselves and get the horse before the cart and do what's right. And for those of you who are not Christians, realize this is what Christians should be doing. Get the love before the scriptures. Get Jesus Christ before the scriptures. Because before the scriptures were written, they were preaching Jesus Christ. Before the New Testament was there, they were preaching Jesus Christ. And you, before the scriptures are even there, ought to be able to speak about the love of Jesus Christ that you have personally experienced. Otherwise, shut up. God bless you all.